Good evening, dear televiewers, and welcome to the 6 p.m. Prime News of Akamdis Television in the Queen's language. We begin right away with the headlines. His Excellency President Paul Biya is presently in Europe for a private visit. Of recent, the President and wife Chantal Biya have been victims of aggressive manifestations organized by Cameroonians abroad, a very unpatriotic and unacceptable way of expressing one's opinion. We'll be bringing you more as we begin the news. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, in an audience granted to His Excellency President Paul Biya's Special Envoy to Nigeria, Felix Mbayo, promised to make Nigeria not a safe place to Cameroonian separatists. The Cameroonian musician Thierry Mengumu, popularly known as Tenor, has been involved in a ghastly car accident in Douala, littoral region of the country that left one lady dead. The artist and the other victims are presently receiving treatment at the La Cantini Hospital in Douala. We will bring you more developments in some seconds to come. Thanks for joining us. We begin the news with a very special guest, Tabi Clarkson, who is a reporter and also doubles as the Director of Information for Akamdis Television. You're welcome, sir.
Good evening to you, Umeko.
Thank you very much. As we speak, His Excellency President Paul Biya is on a private visit in Europe. Of recent, President Paul Biya and his wife Chantal Biya have been victims of aggressive manifestations organized by some Cameroonians in the diaspora. Of recent was in Geneva, Switzerland, which according to you is unpatriotic and unacceptable.
Yes, and Umeko is very unpatriotic and unacceptable to find some Cameroonians in the name of the diaspora attacking the head of state. The head of state is the guarantor of our national integrity. He is our emblem. He is the President of the Republic. He deserves some respect. Attacking the head of state is a crime because, believe me, President Biya, being a father, being a man of peace, on several occasions, he has come out to discuss with Cameroonians. I quite remember. You can remember the 1993, 1994, when the Bakassi affair actually broke out, how peacefully he succeeded in solving the Bakassi crisis. It simply means that Mr. Biya is a man of peace, is a man of dialogue. Let's take again the Anglophone crisis. On how many occasions has the president come out to say enough is enough? Leave the bush, come, let's dialogue. Come back to your normal senses. On how many occasions has the president discussed with, of course, these Cameroonians in the diaspora? Whenever he goes out, he discusses with these people. But the good news is that despite the attacks and despite the violent manifestations, the President of the Republic, President Paul Biya and wife Chantal, they are waxing well at this moment.
Okay, Tabi Clarkson, we are in a republic and there are Republican ways of expressing one's view.
There are Republican ways, of course. Dialogue, dialogue, and dialogue. It's true that we may not agree on all issues, which is but very normal, but at least in a country like ours, in a country where we have democratic institutions put in place, I think elections are better ways for people to express themselves. Those in the diaspora, let them come back home and create political parties and, of course, go in for free, fair, and transparent elections. If they are voted, okay, good news. No need for us to actually watch our dirty lineage in public. That is very ungentlemanly, and I think what is happening in Swiss in Geneva is not normal, it's unpatriotic, and we know that we have many challenges. The President of the Republic has many challenges. For example, and Umeko, the challenges now we have the African Cup of Nations that is coming, the 2021 African Cup of Nations which is coming in January, that Cameroon will be organizing, is very important for us to have peace, for the president to have peace, to better organize this competition, because since 1972 we have never organized a major football tournament. I want to believe that in 2021 that is a challenge for the president of the republic. We have another challenge, the security challenge in the far north region, be it again in the southwest or in the northwest region. Those are the challenges, security challenges. We are not forgetting the COVID gate and the COVID-19 pandemic. That is another challenge of the president of the republic. So the president has much to do. We are begging with those diasporans, with those in the diaspora, that they should allow the president to work, because he's out there. It's true that he went for a private visit, but he has gone to work. He is working at all times, and the constitution is clear. The president of the republic deserves some respect. He deserves some respect, be it at home or abroad. He is the president of the republic. He incarnates the institutions. He incarnates the people of Cameroon, because attacking the head of state, you are attacking not only the institutions of the republic, you are equally attacking the people of Cameroon, Cameroonians. Because remember that in 2018, during the presidential elections, Cameroonians in their great majority came out and voted for the president of the republic. Over 71% of the vote. We simply think that this man is loved by the people. He is a man of peace. Please allow him to work.
Thank you very much, Tabi Clarkson. The message is clear. Let's unite behind His Excellency President Paul Biya and allow him to work. Tabi Clarkson is a senior journalist and chief of information for Camdis Television. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Equally for me to welcome you here, of course. We say thank you.
Thank you very much, Tabi Clarkson. We move over to Nigeria, where the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, has said that he is not going to allow Nigeria a breeding heaven for separatist fighters in Cameroon. He was speaking during an audience granted to the minister delegate in charge of cooperation with Commonwealth, Felix Mbayo. Bertrand Tita tells us more.
President Paul Biya's special envoy to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, minister delegate in the Ministry of External Relations in charge of relations with the Commonwealth, Felix Mbayo, has been assured by the Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari that Nigeria would not serve as a safe haven for separatist fighters from the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. Minister Felix Mbayo, who bore a special sealed message from President Paul Biya to his Nigerian counterpart Muhammadu Buhari, was warmly received at the Aso Rock Villa in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. During the audience, Nigeria's president affirmed knowing that Cameroon has been suffering from separatist threat since 2017, revisiting the long-lasting relations that existed between the two neighbors who share just artificial boundaries instituted on them by their colonial masters. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari pledged his support to help Cameroon regain its unity and peace. Speaking after the audience at the Aso Rock Villa in Abuja, Nigeria, Paul Biya's imagery said Cameroon and Nigeria share so much in common and are one people. Whatever affects Nigeria affects Cameroon by extension and vice versa. Cameroon and Nigeria are strategic partners in the fight against the Boko Haram terrorist group through the multinational joint task force. This explains why the Nigerian president assures Minister Felix Mbayo that Nigeria will never harbor separatists who have jeopardized the tranquility of Cameroon for the past 5 years running.
We remain in Nigeria, where after the audience that was granted by the President Muhammadu Buhari to the minister delegate in charge of cooperation with Commonwealth, Felix Mbayo, His Excellency President Paul Biya's special envoy In Abuja, capital city of Nigeria, our reporter Tita Bertrand went down memory lane to evaluate or to talk on the relationship ties that exist when it comes to geographical, historical and cordial ties between Cameroon and Nigeria. His report.
Cameroon's largest diaspora community resides in neighboring Nigeria and vice versa. Cameroon and Nigeria shares at least 11 languages in common, and both countries shares at 1,700 kilometers of their territorial border. For 45 years, the English-speaking part of Cameroon was administered from the eastern region under the British. These are enough facts to create smooth relations between Yaoundé and Abuja, and this explains why Cameroon and Nigeria easily signed the Green Tree Accord over Bakassi. Bilateral trade can never be underestimated, and just recently, Nigeria's born business magnate Aliko Dangote was the first business investor to be received in audience by the president of Cameroon, Paul Biya. To ensure that the investment are safe on both sides, Cameroon and Nigeria business leaders have invested to secure their people. This explains why the keynote remains security cooperation overseas both countries gain independence from their colonial masters. Both countries are strategic partners in the fight against terrorism, especially the Boko Haram in the far north regions, through the multinational Joint Task Force. President Muhammadu Buhari's assurance to support the return of normalcy in Cameroon is just a payback time, because if Nigeria is enjoying unity today, it is thanks to Cameroon's stabilizing role in the Nigerians' numerous civil wars between 1967 and 1970. The origin of separatists rising in Nigeria and Cameroon today to partition the country is clearly aware that neither Nigeria nor Cameroon can harbor them to jeopardize these great African nations. Diplomatic relations between Cameroon and Nigeria was established in 1960. It is greatly influenced by historical, geographical, cultural and economic ties. Nigeria has two consulates general in Douala and Buea, with plans to open the third in Gariwa.
We now go to something very sad, where the Cameroonian rapper Thierry Emengumo, popularly known as Teno, was involved in a motorcar accident this morning around 4 a.m. He was involved in the car accident with other 3 victims. They were immediately rushed to La Cantini Hospital, where they are presently receiving a treatment, though one lady died in that car accident. Geraldine Nasi gives us details in the following report.
Thierry Mekumu, popularly known by his artistic name Teno, is receiving treatment at the Douala La Cantini Hospital after he sustained severe injuries on board his car that burned down early this Thursday, July 15 in Douala. The tragic incident reportedly occurred at about 4 a.m. at the Carrefour Feu Rouge Besenge neighborhood in Douala. The Cameroonian artist was on board his car alongside 3 other people, including his driver and a 22-year-old girl identified as Erica, a Year 1 university student in Douala. They were on their way back from an evening show at the French Institute to celebrate French music as part of the activities to commemorate Bastille Day. Reports say the car crushed an electric pole and burned down instantly. The young girl, who is said to be one of his fans, was trapped in flames and died on the spot. Meanwhile, Teno and the 3 other people with him sustained severe injuries and were transported to the La Cantini Hospital in a critical condition. The family of Erica, who are yet to come to terms with her sudden and tragic departure, stormed the La Cantini Hospital, crying and demanding explanation as to what happened to their daughter, who only left for fun but unfortunately met her doom. We wish them a quick recovery and our condolences to the family of young Eric.
We wish him a quick recovery. The first session of the National Committee for Monitoring and Evaluation of Implementation of the National Development of the National Development Strategy for the year 2020-2030 took place this July 15 at Hilton Hotel. The ceremony was presided over by the Minister Delegate to the Minister of Economy, Planning and Regional Development in charge of planning, Paul Ataxon. Paul Rutfonyom was present during this meeting and brought back this report.
The government of Cameroon has adopted the National Development Strategy 2020-2030 NDS-30 so as to ensure progress towards emergence by 2035. This is the new reference framework for government action as well as the intervention of its development partners.
We shared with the National Committee for the follow-up of the execution of the National Development Strategy, the communication strategy that was elaborated to enable us have a structured and organized communication around the National Development Strategy.
The NDS-30 basically addresses structural problems which stands as obstacle to development. This includes, among others, the structural deficit in the trade balance which exposes our country to the slightest external shocks and hinders growth potential. The weakness of the industrial fabric which limits the capacity of our economy in order to generate jobs, and the mismatch between training and employment which leads to a low level of development of our human resources.
We therefore took time to organize what we have to do to attain the objective, which is reaching out to the majority of Cameroonians, to the majority of, if not to all the actors of development, so everybody understands exactly what the strategy seeks to attain in terms of objectives and how we intend to get there. So amongst other things today, we shared the communication strategy.
Bilingualism and multiculturalism constitute one of the major pillars of the committee, especially during the period of the socio-political crisis.
The strategy was even drawn up. They conducted surveys, conducted consultations that involved virtually all major segments of the population. So at this level, it could be concluded that virtually every segment of the Cameroonian population gave their contribution and that they will be part of the implementation process.
This first session seeks to enable various stakeholders on the mandate assigned to them so as to better grasp responsibility as well as the guidelines, the goals and the challenges of the NDS-30 and set prospects for the smooth implementation of the strategy, which also aims to rationalize and pool the main instruments in order to ensure greater coherence in monitoring and steering on one hand, and to monitor and evaluate the implementation of the strategy on the other hand.
The numerous challenges faced by some craftsmen and crafts companies will soon be an issue of the past. This was the main reason behind a workshop that took place today to reinforce these sectors. It took place at the Ministry of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Social Economy and Handicrafts and attended by representatives of ministries directly involved. Counties Television was highly represented. Let's have a listen in the report. Their exportation of finished products and works of art out of the country remains a stumbling block to artists and those immediately concerned. Objective of this workshop, organized by the Ministry of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Social Economy and Handicrafts to reinforce this sector,
is to educate our craftsmen which paper is asked at the airport to make sure that everybody is at the same level of the comprehension. Craftsmen have too many problems. It's a lack of knowledge about modalities, how to go on with craft objects. So anytime complaints. It was important to all those craftsmen to know what is asked in terms of papers. Some papers are delivered by the Chambre de Commerce or the ministry in charge of Fcfa. you can, so the craftsman, when you buy a craft object, you can go to those institutions to have those papers.
Participants who are victims express their worries and hope for ameliorations.
When they buy their products, when they arrive at the airport or at the seaport, what happens? They usually confiscate their products there. That there are certain papers that they are supposed to make before they travel them. But they want to have a unique counter where they can produce this certificate of origin so that it will be accessible to each and everyone, because when we travel out of the country, there is something like this, a unique guichet where they put their stamp there. Wherever they go, they pass without problem. The main problem is only here in Cameroon. When foreigners enter here, all the ambassadors will tell them that don't buy anything that concerns wood, because if you buy very well, but you arrive at the airport, officials will confiscate them.
Chaired by the divisional delegates of small and medium-sized enterprises of Fundi 1 and widely attended by representatives from the Ministry of Forestry and Wildlife, Tourism, Art and Culture and the Chambers of Commerce, there are hopes for greater change in a bid to help these great men and women to have a better life from their handwork. It's inevitable that prospects towards long and lasting solutions, as Cameroon's economy needs to be boosted, as one of His Excellency President Paul Biya's objective to make Cameroon an emergent country by 2035. The Union of Cameroonian Musicians were faced to the press July 14 at Jega Palace. They were reclaiming about 16 billion from a green company in terms of their copyright after about 6 months of assessments with the collecting committee. Geraldine Nasi has details in the following report.
Few weeks ago, the board of directors of SONACAM ruled on the situation of copyright in Cameroon. Though about 1,500 artists received their payment, there is a serious problem which makes Cameroonian artists deplorable, as many artists do not receive their own money.
SONACAM is part of this operation that the Minister of Arts and Culture put in place to ensure that all those debts, those arrears that are owed artists are paid.
This commission brought together all the syndicates of musicians who are claiming the payment of their copyrights from the brewery company. The artists regard the act of the Cameroon Music Corporation as a disrespectful act for not wanting to pay the articles of these authors but are using them. Together with CMC and all the other companies that existed before us, we are going hand in hand to ensure that the superior interest of Cameroonian artists is safeguarded. A decision of the Minister of Art and Culture, Ismaël Bidunkwat, gave this commission the authorization over their claims, though the musical arts sector in particular was struck by the health crisis due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which pushed the closure of music shows. Nevertheless, the action of this brewery company was an urgent move taken to ameliorate the situation of artists in Cameroon.
Thanks for joining us. If you are just joining, this is the 6 p.m. Prime News of Acamdis Television, live from Yaoundé, the capital of Cameroon. We take you now over to the northwest region of the country, where 2 non-governmental organizations have visited markets and churches in a bid to sensitize the public on COVID-19 pandemic. They were speaking as a result of the fact that 3 deaths have been recorded in their families. Our northwest regional correspondent, Neba Jerome, was part of the convoy, especially at the Catholic Church in Jimafo, for the same exercise and report from Bamenda.
The Bamenda Main Market, Food Market, Nkwen Market, and Tarinkon Market were the targeted market by the Adeza Muma and Stephen Anyere Foundations with the help of health experts. The method of prevention and the reality about the COVID-19 pandemic were explained to the population of Bamenda.
After the passing away of our children, our family took a conscious decision to educate the population about the illness called coronavirus. Our goal has been to help prevent other families from going through the pain we have been through. We would very much like to express our extreme gratitude to our family and friends who rallied together to help us accomplish this action we are undertaking today.
At Catholic Church in Jemafor, unlike in other Catholic churches and markets, face masks were distributed.
Big thank you to them for giving us these face masks and to help us to know that this coronavirus is real. This sensitization or this awareness will certainly awaken us from sleeping or thinking that is not real.
A total of 2,830 face masks were donated to the population of Bamenda, which will therefore limit the spread of the pandemic.
We take you now still in Bamenda, but now we talk sport where three teams in the Cameroon Professional League 1 Championship went to the field of play yesterday, July 14, 2021, in what has been baptized by football lovers as Bamenda Sports Super Wednesday. Amongst the games played was the PWD Social Club of Bamenda against Dragon of Yaoundé that saw the Abaco boys beating Dragons 3-0. Our Northwest Regional correspondent Nebajerun took part in to observe all the games and said out of the 9 points, 7 points were retained in Bamenda. His report.
The first match of the day witnessed Vision Sport Academy of Bamenda in the Women's Championship, beating RS Diamari by 1-0. In the second encounter, PWD Social Club of Bamenda thrashed Dragon of Yaoundé by 3-0. The last game of the day saw Young Sport Academy of Bamenda, who are still to record a defeat at home since August 2018, played a goalless draw with Canon of Yaoundé.
We are in a championship where there's really no home advantage. Teams come to play away and they come with strategies, they put in place strategies, and I think I'm proud of the effort my players made today. That's what's important to me. We can lose out on a game, we can play a draw, we can win, but I think the bottom line is the effort we put in. Today we did everything, we didn't score, but I think if we continue working like this and we continue putting in effort, we are going to pick up results that are different from what we picked up.
Young Sport Academy of Bamenda will be playing against Astro of Douala in March Day 13, while PWD Social Club of Bamenda will be on standby. Vision Sport Academy of Bamenda will play with Renaissance.
It is with that sports report provided to us by our Northwest Regional correspondent, Nebajerun, that we draw the curtains of our 6 p.m. Prime News. But before we give the headlines, I want to say that we received our reporter and chief of programs, Tabby Clarkson, who threw more light on the disorder that has been taking place in the diaspora and calls on all Cameroonians to rely behind His Excellency President Paul Biya to make Cameroon an emergent country, a peaceful and loving one. Here are the headlines. His Excellency President Paul Biya and wife Chantal Biya are presently in Europe for a private visit. Of recent, the President and wife Chantal Biya have been victims of aggressive manifestations organized by Cameroonians abroad, a very unpatriotic and unacceptable way of expressing one's opinion. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, in an audience granted to His Excellency President Paul Biya's special envoy to Nigeria, Felix Mbayu, promised to make Nigeria not a safe place to Cameroonian separatist fighters. The Cameroonian musician Thierry Mengumo, popularly known as Tenor, has been involved in a ghastly car accident in Douala, littoral region of the country, that left one lady dead. The artist and the other victims are presently receiving treatment at the Lakentini Hospital in Douala. Thanks for being there. It has been a pleasure. Do not go away. At 8 p.m. Desiree Mbune will be coming with news in the French language. Have a wonderful evening in the company of our programs.